updates on Veterans Park and updates on, the police contract, which is on the agenda already. Is there anybody else have any?
We talked before about that traffic on McJane,
Yes.
and I was approached one day last week, about other areas that apparently is a lot of, excessive
The
speeding.
gentleman you mentioned to me.
Yes.
Okay.
I think maybe we can talk to Monongahela Police Department. Hopefully we'll get that negotiated and finalized in the next couple of weeks. Maybe we'll reach out to them for some additional help, some sort of plan. One of the gentlemen had pointed about speeding on Courtney Hill, and we hear Cardox, and we hear everything over here.
And Suzanne lives on Patterson, she sees it there personally. So one of the things that Suzanne was working on is possibly having a random non-activity time of day of not having an officer just for that day, unannounced, like not the people, but that way we could maybe bank that and double up with 2 officers on a shift and maybe start doing speed trapping. It's just one of the things that we're considering is that if there's really nothing going on here between 4 a.m. and 8 a.m., would the Monongahela Police be open to possibly having an unannounced one day in that month that we don't use them here, but we get 2 officers to start doing some speed trapping, like, and it's just one of the options that we're talking about. No decisions made yet, but I guess Suzanne will talk more about that during that part of the agenda, but yeah, we are trying to look for, and, the road superintendent is gonna start placing those speed signs that the Monongahela Police can, we have the flashing speed limit signs, and the Monongahela Police can actually read the data off. I'm gonna start moving those to different locations to try to get when the worst offenses are. Like if Cardox Road's getting hit heavy at this time of day, weekdays, and Patterson Road's getting hit heavy on that we can actually kind of develop a plan for where to have the police and start cracking down. So hopefully that'll start moving around this week. And Chief Harris said that they have the computer program to pull it right off the signs. And we can actually see where the worst offensive places are.
When you're done with the police, I have one more thing for my engineers report.
Oh,
Sorry.
we're done.
Okay.
No, there's no other supervisor things that aren't already on the agenda. Go ahead, TJ.
I left one thing off my list. I did hear from Sam Cant. I think it was maybe at the end of last week.
The gentleman on Cardox.
Regarding Cardox Road. And Michelle will recall, but for the benefit of the newer supervisors, we did take a look at Cardox Road a couple times last year, and there were, an extended stretch of those temporary orders barriers. So, given the condition out there, I thought, there may be an opportunity to remove some of those barriers and then potentially investigate how we want to actually, finish that transition where it really necks down very quickly from where it was widened to where it's much narrower. So, where we left things with Mr. Cant, towards the end of last year, this was after, asphalt plants were closed for the year, and in recognition of the fact that there were going to be new supervisors coming on board, had sort of communicated to him that this would be something that we would look at again in the spring of this year. So now that we're, moving into that springtime, I think it may be prudent to make a visit there with Ken Puglisi, our road superintendent, and, maybe some of the supervisors if they'd like to participate as well, and potentially revisit that conversation on Cardox Road and how that's gonna get finished.
Yeah.
So maybe next time I'm here, that's something we can take a look at.
Which also takes me back to supervisor reports. We are looking at a time frame for putting out the public bid aggregates and pipes and gasoline. I think we're going to possibly use liquid fuels for those items. We're getting into that window where probably at the next meeting, we're gonna have to vote to advertise that. So if you could have this road superintendent give you kind of an idea what he's gonna be needing, so that we can, PennDOT almost writes it up for you, but we still gotta vote to advertise it, we gotta know from him what he might need.
Okay.
That might be a good one too, to have our municipal services rep look at over on Cardox Road, given that it's kind of a unique situation.
Yeah.
Maybe might be a good idea to get PennDOT's input on.
You want her out here?
I think it would be a good
You
idea.
guys pick a day.
Well, it'd be good to do the same day for the bidding, like preparing the bids for advertising.
She's done the same thing with us for the.
She did it
potential
last
paving.
year, yeah.
They're pretty switch.
I think it's, we'd have to vote to advertise the bid at probably the next meeting.
Yeah, that should work out timing wise.
Right.
We're running short in time. We've
We're
already
running
opened bids
short
on,
in time. Yeah, some places have already opened up bids.
most places we have.
So,
I told
I know that it was about the same time last year, we did it about the April meeting last year,
Right,
so.
well, I would rate.
I told Mr. Can I'd bring it up, so I'd be remiss if I didn't do that. Sorry
Well,
about that.
it's probably best that he did, because like I said, it's a whole new board.
Right.
And they have to be updated
And
on it.
he understood that, and he understood the time constraints of the season.
Sometimes when you're not squeaking a little bit, and all the stuff that goes on, you get, you know.
You're gonna write that letter to the utility companies on a potential
Yes.
paving.
We'll do.
I think it's due Friday.
It'll be done.
Any other comments, you guys? Good?
All right, thanks, Michelle.